Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, streaming online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio alongside Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, welcome back to the hot seat this week. We've got a jam-packed show this week, a big NFL playoff breakdown, some big local news, but first this week we're going to begin our show with a look into a local high school girls basketball team that has absolutely caught fire right out of the gate and is not only being regarded as one of the top teams in the region, but the entire state of Arkansas. Last year, Cutter Morning Star was just shy of a 500 record, and as of the recording of this show, they are an undefeated 16-0, 5-0 in conference. Tracy, it's a team that starts strong, shoots three-pointers well, and smothers opponents with their defense. They're the complete package. And after coaching at Magnolia, Nemo Vista, and Lake Hamilton, Aaron Thomas's first year as head coach of the Lady Eagles could not be off to a better start. Coach Thomas joins us on the program this week. Coach, congratulations on all the success so far this year. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank y'all so much. And I want to start by saying hi to all my pickleball friends in Hot Springs Village. It's so cool. This is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. You know, one of the things that we've seen from this team is how well-rounded it is. If one player is having an off night, someone steps in to fill her shoes. Feels like things are working like a well-oiled machine. Let's brag on these girls to start. Talk about this team and what they bring to the table this year.
First of all, we became a family this summer. We did the Harding Team Camp, and that's where you go and you stay overnight for 3 days. And we put our phones up and we talked, and that's something that kids don't do anymore. And like I said, we put our phones up and we talked, and we figured out how to be a family and how to work together. And, you know, it starts with, like you said, tenacious defense. We've got girls that can shoot it. We have girls that play the role to a T, and they're very unselfish, and that's a credit to them.
Coach, you know, some might say out there that it's a little atypical for a new coach to come into a program and have this level of success early. There's obviously really great buy-in from your girls. What has that process looked like this year?
You know, it starts with really good senior leadership. We've got 3 seniors that, you know, it's tough. When you get a new coach and you're a senior, you're kind of like, man, you know, how is that going to go? This is my last ride. I want it to be great. And it goes down to, you know, we've got 11 girls on our team that are all bought into doing their job. And, you know, and I appreciate the people giving me the credit, but it's these girls. They stay late, they shoot, they work out their problems, they play really hard. And I'm going to be honest with you, we just want to represent our community. The eagerness to represent our community, this Cutter community, is really high among these girls. We take tremendous pride in that. We're proud to be.
Coach, as Mark acknowledged at the first of the interview, different areas you've coached at, some higher levels. Now, is your style of coaching, which is obviously working, is that something that your style that you've tried at other schools and it just seems to work, especially at this level?
You know, I think it's. I got to coach Darian Ford and Kobe Garland and Denavion Taylor that are all 3 playing college basketball. Whenever you have guys like that, I'll be honest with you, I think any style would work. But these girls have really, really bought into pressuring people without fouling, to diving on the floor, to being blue collar. And I think that goes back to representing our community. Anytime kids play selfless and they play together, you're going to have a chance to be great. And you know, to answer the question about the style, we want to get up, we want to get after you, and that requires you to be in tremendous shape. And when kids come up to the gym and they run on their own, that's big time.
Wow, man, you got it that right, Mark. That's something special there. When you get them to commit on their own and they'll follow you. They'll follow you over through a brick wall, won't they, Coach?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So, of course, Coach, I know that last year was a bit lackluster in terms of the goals of this team, this school, this program. Certainly a different outlook this year. But as we talk about team goals, what were some of the things that you hoped to achieve for this squad before the season began, and how have those goals changed now given the level of success that you've seen so far?
You know, we just wanted to play the game the right way. You know, one of the local coaches told me the other day, he said, Coach, you guys share the ball better than any team I've seen in at least a decade. Our goal was to play together. Our goal was to compete and have a chance to win our conference, which, I mean, presently we have an opportunity to do that if we continue to play well. And our goal was to make the state tournament. And I'm going to be honest with you, the only thing that has changed with us is now I think the belief is there. I think we thought, but the girls thought, and now they see that we can be great. And we would love to bring a championship trophy down Spring Street, and that's our goal. And we're going to fight to make sure that happens. And if we fall short, we just want our community to go, you know what, they're blue collar like we are, and they represent us the right way.
Coach, let's expand on that a little bit further. You talk about this team finding its identity and believing in what it can do. Was there a specific moment this season? Maybe it was a game, maybe it was something on a bus ride, off the court. What was that moment, that turning page that you believe finally sparked that belief in this squad?
We played Dirks earlier this year, and it was one of the best basketball games I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot because I've been around. I'm old, and I've been around some basketball. And we got into halftime, and I mean it's a battle. We're going back and forth. And the girls looked at me and they said, "Coach, we're not backing down. We're different. We're not backing down. We understand that this win has a chance to take this program on for years." And, I mean, if you haven't seen Dirks, I mean, they're phenomenal. And the fact that our girls kept going. Dirks might have got up 6, but here we go. And, you know, it's just that togetherness. I heard one of them look at another and say, I don't care how many you miss, you're going to make the next one. And that you before me attitude on this team is what makes them special.
Coach, through the years now, you were just saying, you know, how many years you've been around the round ball and coaching and being around players. How has it changed through the years, comparing, you know, a while back to now? Has the style of play changed? You know, the new rules and stuff. What has changed that you think is big time for the game?
Well, I think women's basketball in particular is on fire right now. Obviously, we've all heard of Caitlin Clark. My daughter's got a Caitlin Clark poster up in her room.
Mm-hmm.
You would think her dad would be her hero, but no, it's Caitlin Clark. Dad's not very cool. But it's Caitlin Clark. I think the ability for post players to shoot the basketball has opened the game up tremendously. You know, back when I played and back when you guys played, the post players, you stayed inside. And there was no pick and pop action. There was no, you know, I guess Tim Duncan shot 50-footers, Dirt in the wind, shot threes. But, I mean, there were more guys like Shaquille O'Neal and Kareem, and they didn't really get outside. Now, even, you know, in the women's game also, you know, the post players being able to shoot is a huge deal. And, you know, and I think that's opened the floor up tremendously, and it sure does for us.
Good call on that one. I can see that, Mark. That's actually a good call.
Coach, you mentioned that Dirks game. Of course, Dirks a very good squad this year. You guys squeak out that 2-point win, and it was a big home win for your squad. You know, Tracy and I talk on this show so much about the beautiful basketball facilities at Cutter Morning Star. And for our listeners out there, if you haven't seen a game at the new Eagle Arena yet, you're really missing out. But of course, Coach, you're really entering crunch time down the stretch. You've got a little bit more than a month left or so in conference play. What is a must-see game coming up for you and your team where you might not mind having a packed house in the arena?
Oh, goodness. I would say when Mountain Pine comes to town.
Oh, yeah.
When Mountain Pine comes to town, and I can't think off the top of my head when they come to Cutter, but If you're an Eagles fan, if you're a fan of basketball, that is two really, really good basketball teams going at it.
Oh, man, I can only imagine that. Yeah, across town, baby.
And Mountain Pine's a bit better this year as well, so they probably don't even need our help at KVRE filling the stands for that game for sure. Will be a big one. But, Coach, I want to leave you with one more question this week. You mentioned at the start of this interview that you brought these girls together. You guys became a family over the summer. Are there any funny or interesting stories about the team that you'd like to share this season?
Well, so guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love to sing, and I sing all the time, and I don't sing well, or so I'm told. But let's just say at Harding Team Camp, there was a lot of singing going on, and the girls convinced me to prank my wife. My wife came up to watch us one after. When you go to Harding, you're in a huge cafeteria and you're having lunch with hundreds of athletes around the stadium. Coach, it's so cool. And the girls are like, "Hey, Coach, there's this new trend on TikTok. You got to propose to her in front of everybody." And I said, "Girls." They're like, "No, Coach, you talk about being all in, 2 feet in. We're asking you to be 2 feet in for us." And of course, they got me, so I get up in front of everybody. I say, "Hey, can I have your attention?" And I get down on a knee, and of course, I'm already married, so I've already done this once. And I said, "Hey, will you marry me?" And all the girls in there, "Oh, great." My wife looks me dead in the face in front of all these people. She goes, "No." And I said, "Are you kidding me? There's no redos on this." And all the girls in there were like, like losing their mind. And my girls just thought that was the funniest thing ever.
Oh, my goodness.
And, I eventually said, "Hey, guys, we're already married. Nobody feel bad for me." And they started laughing. My wife hates being put on the spot. And that was, it's just fun, to be with your family. And these girls are my family. I just want to tell you, we've got a point guard that plays incredible defense. We've got a 2 guard that's a senior that hits 4 threes a game. I've got a sophomore that is can do anything offensively or defensively. I've got a 6-foot post player that's really bought in, and I've got another junior shooter in Dee Babb. You talk about girls that play their roles. I could go on and on and on. Kids nowadays are not unselfish. My kids this year are unselfish, all because of them. It doesn't matter who scores as long as the Eagles have won, and that's what's special about this.
Obviously, Coach, you can see the combination that you've got over at Cutter's obviously working, and credit to you and your style. Congratulations, man. Unbelievable.
Thank y'all so much. Hey, I want some pickleball games. I want to be invited back to the village for pickleball soon.
We'll see if we can work that one out for you. Maybe me and you can team up one day. How's that sound?
That sounds good. I can't play golf unless you want me to embarrass you, because I'm terrible. But.
We'll get on the pickleball. We'll see how much trouble we can get into out there. How's that sound?
I think getting a lot. It sounds good. Thank y'all so much.
Coach Aaron Thomas of Cutter Morningstar Girls Basketball, the hottest team in Garland County, the hottest team in the state of Arkansas. Good luck the rest of the way. We think the best is yet to come for the Lady Eagles this season.
All right, gang, second quarter coming up. Mark, are you ready for it?
Oh, yes, we've got a big NFL playoff breakdown. The AFC comes your way next on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com, and we're on iHeartRadio. Tracy, welcome back. The NFL playoffs are here. 32 teams entered, only 14 remain. And boy, in this 18-week NFL season, this has been a season full of great moments, big upsets, and huge storylines. And let's start this segment with a look at the AFC. And we'll start with the number 1 seed, the Kansas City Chiefs, the back-to-back reigning Super Bowl champions after resting all their starters and essentially laying down to let Denver into the playoffs. By the time we see the Chiefs take the field again, it'll be roughly 3 weeks off for their starters, last playing on Christmas Day. Now, as we saw in the CFP, could time off be detrimental to the reigning champions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, at this level, everybody's dinged up. We've talked about this, before, Mark. Everybody's got something going on. A bruise here, a sprained ankle, whatever the case is, everybody. But your timing is something that you have to work on weekly. And practice time, if you've ever, you know what I'm talking about. Practice time is nothing like real time. And it's just that simple. And so if you take off a little bit, 2 weeks for pros, one thing. 3 weeks, well, you've seen it happen just like you stated in not only this, but also in any of the bowl games. When, their last game was the third week of November, then they have to wait till New Year's. 4 or 5 weeks can make a huge difference. And so even with the pros, I think that timing is everything, and I think 3 weeks it could jump up and bite them. I'll be honest with you. Kansas City, a little lackluster, obviously, in their 2 games. And I don't even really want to talk about Kansas City that much, Mark, because somehow they always luck out. I don't know what
They do seem to have the lucky horseshoe in their pocket, don't they? Well, then let's not talk about Kansas City, but let's talk about who might have the chance at beating Kansas City in that next round. 2 young quarterback studs are going to vie for the chance to take on Patrick Mahomes and the 2-time champion Chiefs, and that's the number 4 Texans and the number 5 Chargers. Now, behind Jim Harbaugh, Los Angeles has rebounded into a contender after winning just 5 games a year ago. They feature 2 prolific quarterbacks in this matchup. That's Justin Herbert and C.J. Stroud, or Oregon and Ohio State, if you will. This one, in my opinion, might be determined by the defense instead of the offense. Houston's known for its ability to get through offensive line. It's 4th in the league in sacks, okay? The Texans' defense will have to be on fire and ready to go since offensively they are down 2 receiving options due to injuries. Talk about those bumps and bruises, right? Meanwhile, Justin Herbert and the Chargers are roaring into the postseason on a 3-game winning streak. Herbert finishes with one of the best TD to interception ratios in the league at 23-3, and running back J.K. Dobbins finished the season with career highs in rushing yards and touchdowns, but I do have to tell you he is nursing an ankle injury this week. Vegas has this one at a nail-biter. Texans and Chargers, who do you have?
Well, I think right now that, like you said, Chargers playing some great ball right now on defense. Obviously, their defense is the best in the league. Last couple of games, they've, due to injury, like you were talking about, they've let a few slip through their pockets, but they're hot right now. And with Harbaugh, here's what I think is going to be the whole difference. Harbaugh may be up for Coach of the Year, possibly. I know he's on the list. There's no doubt about that. And how far they go is one thing, but his style is not everybody's used to it yet. Not everybody knows all of his tricks in his bag, so to speak. And with the Texans, they've already shown their hand in the last couple of years. Rookie quarterback, no, he's not. He's a pro now. And so they've already shown their hand, so to speak. Not that they can't show a few more twists and turns in there, but I think Harbaugh still has a few tricks up his sleeve, and I think their defense is something that can really show up this time, so to speak. And like you said, they're hot. The last 3 wins, and I think if anybody, the Chargers. And I don't think you talk about home field advantage and stuff like that, Mark. I don't know so much like it is in college. I know it's important if you go up to the, different areas, of course, but I don't know between these 2 teams if home field advantage means that much. I'll be honest with you. I like the Chargers. I'm not so much a Harbaugh fan by no means, or a Charger fan. I'm just looking at what it looks like on paper, and I think that they're going to give Stroud a whole lot of problems, is what I think.
You're right. Love him or hate him, you can't argue that Jim Harbaugh has that playoff experience. You look what he did with the 49ers in recent years, what he's done to this current LA Chargers team that was less than mediocre a season ago. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly.
And they were not fighting for their playoff life in week 17, week 18. This is a team that, in the same division as Kansas City, mind you, solidified itself as a wild card presence early. And, Justin Herbert, yes, he's a former Oregon Duck, so yes, I love him, but he's also really just objectively proven to be a great young quarterback in this league. He's been able to shake off some injury concerns, and he hasn't necessarily had the best possible wide receiving options out there. In fact, I would argue that he's lost more wide receiving options this year than he's gained. Keenan Allen goes to the Bears, and they lose guys left and right, and they still find ways to get it done. Maybe that is J.K. Dobbins coming in from the Ravens to the Chargers and recreating his identity with this team, putting themselves in a powerful playoff position. You did mention the Texans, and you're right. C.J. Stroud already has a playoff win from last year, so, you got to take that shrink wrap away. He's not a rookie. You got to give him the credit where the credit is due. The thing with me is yes, they're a 4 seed. Yes, they have that home game, but I can't forget they won one of the weakest divisions in all of the NFL. Chargers are being picked by Vegas in this one, so the home team is the underdog. I absolutely think that's correct. I absolutely think we're going to see LA and KC a week later down the road.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I know, the Chargers were handled, pretty well by Kansas City. But the point of the matter, like you said, one game at a time. One game at a time. And I'll go back to where I don't think home field advantage for Houston means that much right here. I'll be honest with you. These guys are professionals. You're not playing against the posse up in Buffalo where it's going to be 3 foot of snow on the ground or anything like that. It's going to be down in Houston. The weather's going to be nice. Obviously playing a great facility. I think that the essence there is just some styles that you haven't seen. I think Harbaugh's going to pull some out. And, he's always had those little trick plays and stuff. You've seen them. And I think you're going to see that here, too. I don't think they might not even need it. But when it comes down to it, I think they're going to give Stroud fits. I really do.
Moving on, number 3 Ravens, number 6 Steelers. The Ravens started slow this year, but finished strong. Baltimore possesses the likely MVP in Lamar Jackson. These two teams split their regular season series this year, and Baltimore scores 30.4 points per game. On the other side of the coin, Pittsburgh prides itself on defense, has probably the best kicker in the NFL, winning that special teams battle. These two teams just played, Tracy, not too long ago. Baltimore had the upper hand pretty much the entire contest. Derrick Henry is somehow outrunning Father Time. He's not the youngest RB on the field, but he seems to get better every game this season. Tracy, my question to you is, on paper, this one looks ugly. Does Pittsburgh even have a chance here?
Not a chance. Wilson, for some reason, I don't know what it is, he still has the capability. You're talking about Father Time, but somehow he's not meshing right now. And what he's doing, in my opinion, he's holding on to the ball. And now he's always held on to the ball. Don't get me wrong. But his scrambling ability is not what it used to be. You used to see him duck in and out when he was at Seattle, not so much at Denver. But, duck out of those oncoming rushers and get out of the way. He's not doing that right now. He's not performing at the level he was when he was even 35. I don't know. Anyway, I think Father Time's caught up with him. And like you said, they just played 2 weeks ago, and they got chewed up. I do not see Baltimore going backwards on this one. And like you said, Vegas has them huge. I've got them huge also. I don't know about the over because I'm worried about Pittsburgh scoring, but I'll definitely take, even with the points, Baltimore here.
I do think Baltimore is going to win this game, but I will still play devil's advocate because I'm sure there are Steelers fans listening right now. Don't turn us off just yet. Hang on.
Get the towels out.
I know your argument, and there may be validity to it. First, let's talk about it. Mike Tomlin is whether you love him or hate him, he has continued to get this team to the postseason year after year after year. He has always found a way, and sometimes against immeasurable odds. You can never count out Coach Tomlin and the Steelers against anybody. I don't care who you put in front of him. But also, probably the biggest argument you Steelers fans are screaming at your radio right now, but Mark, Lamar Jackson is only 2-4 in the postseason. Yeah, he might get the MVP, but he has to be able to step up when it matters the most. And so far, he has not really done that. So can Lamar Jackson get it done on his home turf in the pressure of the playoffs where it's win or go home? That is the kind of energy that Pittsburgh will try to rally around to pull off the upset.
I think that he's got a little bit more, I don't want to say smarts to him. I think he's got more weapons, Mark. He doesn't have to do it all.
He definitely does this year.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do it all. And so he's realized that. You used to see him scramble when he didn't have to. Now he's dishing the ball off. He's finding Derek when you need to. You know what I mean? That kind of a deal. And he's listening to his helmet. And what I mean is he's listening to his coach. Whatever they call in there, he's going with that play. You don't see him audible out so much anymore, whether it's a handoff to Derek or throwing down the field. You just don't see him trying to be too much. And that's the difference, I think, right now. You want to say maturing? Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Our last AFC matchup to break down this week, the number 2 Bills, the number 7 Broncos. Bo Nix and the Broncos are into the postseason for the first time in almost 9 years, and they may be thanking Kansas City for the late Christmas present, but now they get the tough task of taking on Josh Allen and the Bills in New York. Listen, Denver is clearly the underdog in this one, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this is impossible. The Broncos defense played a significant role in getting the team even to this position where it is today. And if they can stop the Bills, particularly in their running game, that is the lane, that is the one avenue that I see for opening the door to an upset win. Captain Hook, James Cook, if he gets space, this game is over. If Josh Allen gets space in the running game, this game is over. But Sean Payton is no stranger to the postseason, of course, as the coach of the Broncos. Denver wins the toss, takes the ball, goes down and scores. That flips the game script on its head and allows the Broncos to control the tempo on the road. Okay, that's how the Broncos can win this game. The question is can they actually do it?
They can, but not with Bo Nix. And I say that because I know he's got what it takes to be a great quarterback someday, but his youth right now going into a hostile. And I know
that's fair.
I know I talked a while ago about home field advantage, and I did say the posse. You go up there and you play in Buffalo. I got news for you. And you know the weather's going to be bad. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So, and with that, and not that Denver doesn't have the greatest weather in the world also, but you're going in a hostile environment. They show up, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not so much on them covering the spread because 10 points is a lot of points. But as it is, Buffalo is on a mission this year. I'm telling you right now. And I know Denver's, hey, look, I just think the inexperience of Bo Nix, you saw him when he got panicked a couple of times. Throw out that last game. Okay, let's be for real. He was playing against third and fourth guys. Okay, but it looked good. He won't do that against a team like Buffalo.
Yeah, you're right. Buffalo is a team that has something to prove. They're tired of being second fiddle to the Chiefs. They're probably tired of being maybe even third fiddle to the Ravens this year. This is a team that has something to prove, and I'm really excited for this matchup. That's the AFC. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll break down the NFC playoff picture. Don't go anywhere. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues in a moment on KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
And we're back. Our coverage of the NFL playoffs brings us to the NFC. Tracy Simpson and Mark Oliver here with you. Tracy, let's talk about those matchups. Number 3, Buccaneers. Number 6, Commanders. A lot has transpired since week 1 of the NFL when Tampa Bay thumped Washington by 17 in the season opener, hot off of a come-from-behind victory over the Chiefs to make the Saints, to make the postseason. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs are hoping that their home field advantage can go a long way in this one. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. But since that week 1 loss, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are 11-4. Washington boasts a top 5 offense, and Daniels is likely the offensive rookie of the year. He's thrown for 25 touchdowns. He's ran for 6 more. And with talented receiving options on both sides of the football, this one could be a barn burner. Buccaneers, Commanders. Who do you have?
You know, Mark, I've never been a Washington fan. I'm just going to tell you right now,
know.
Being a diehard Dallas fan, but my brother Richard is absolutely just going bonkers over this. What you left out also of other accolades, he's rushed for over 850 yards also, okay? He's only rookie to ever do this, okay, and throw that much and run this much and then serve beer at halftime, okay? The kid's amazing, obviously. Plus their coach is in the right direction. But you were talking about hot teams a while ago. Tampa Bay. Let me tell you what. You got the likes of a team not only that's hot right now, but they're healthy And then also, what I saw the other day, when a certain Mike Evans, he needed 5 yards for a completion to get a bonus. And for them to come out and the defense to play as hard as they could to get the ball back, to put it in the hands of Baker Mayfield and to make that completion, I saw a team. And what I mean by that, I saw a brotherhood. Everybody stepping up to help everybody else out. And so that right there changed my whole aspect of how they're playing right now. They're hot. And Baker, he's going to do whatever he can. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that right now, don't get me wrong, Washington defense, they showed up, the other day lacklusterly against a Dallas team, which wasn't probably there, but they made it happen. Now the defense did. Now, on the other hand, though, their offense gave up how many sacks? Now, they still won the game, don't get me wrong, even with their backup. They got him out of there, okay? But still, in the first half, they gave up 4 sacks. That front line for Tampa Bay is pretty good. I'm going to tell you right now. They're real good, and they're making the difference. You're seeing them giving possessions to Baker because Baker can't make the most of possessions time and time again. He has to have the ball 7 or 8 times a game just to be able to score. Well, look at the numbers they've been putting up, Mark. That right there, the last 4 of their 5 games, if you had the over, you were in with them alone. So, I mean, that's what you got to contend with right now. And everybody's healthy. We talked about that earlier, too. Tampa Bay, I don't think so much, having to go to Tampa Bay that much. Their fan base is okay. But Washington right now, a hot team, Tampa Bay's hotter.
So you're going to Tampa Bay in this one.
All the way.
I'll tell you this much, Tracy. I've been watching this division all season long. And no matter what happened, and we'll talk about the ups and downs of Tampa Bay in a moment, I always thought Atlanta would be here. I always thought this would be the Falcons. I never gave credit to Tampa Bay all season long. Maybe it's the lack of star power, because when you look at this depth chart, outside of Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, maybe Sterling Shepard is a name that I recognize.
Unknowns.
Bucky Irving at running back. Who is that guy? Well, I'll tell you who that guy is. He's proven himself to be in the upper echelon of running backs this season for this Buccaneers squad. They're not flashy. They don't have a ton of all-stars. And maybe that's what makes this team so likable right now, is because they're getting it done not with big pocketbooks, not with huge salary caps. They're just getting it done with handpicking the right guys to go out and get the job done and win football games. This was a team that won 2 games out of 8 going into the bye week. And then since the bye week, they're 6-1. They're hot when it matters the most. They're roaring into the playoffs on a good note whenever it matters the most. It's a dangerous team in this NFC that is stacked from top to bottom. Don't get me wrong. On paper, I think Washington is the better team, and I would not be surprised for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders to flip the script, turn the tables, and win this one easily. But I have picked against the Buccaneers all year long, and I've been wrong all year long. I don't know what it is, but this time I'm going to go with Tampa Bay and try to learn my lesson.
Wise choice, like you said. Another thing, too, like you just said, they're playing as a team, like I stated a while ago. You don't see Baker Mayfield on a bunch of national commercials.
Yeah.
He's focused.
Yeah.
He is focused. I'm telling you that right now. A bunch of no-names, you're right. After this next game, there won't be so much no-names.
Here's a matchup that has lots of big names, but a very interesting storyline. It's the Eagles and Packers, 2 versus 7. Yes, the Eagles are a franchise best 14-3. Yes, they have the best running back in the league in Saquon Barkley. Yes, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are 2 of the best receivers in the game, period. And yes, Green Bay is coming off of a pathetic loss to my Chicago Bears. So why is this matchup even a topic of discussion? Normally, I wouldn't even look twice at this match, but recent injuries, I think, are going to tell the tale here. First, for Philly, a big question mark surrounding quarterback Jalen Hurts. Updates on his quarterback status following the concussion protocol have been as scarce as has his attendance been in practice. Green Bay quarterback Jordan Love got hurt in that Bears game. He's less than 100%. And add to the pile that wide receiver Christian Watson tore his ACL against the Bears. He is done. The Green Machine does have one big thing working for him, and that's a very healthy, solid running option in Josh Jacobs. If Green Bay has a path to victory, I think it goes through the running game and Jacobs. Is this Josh Jacobs versus Saquon Barkley, or is this a less than 100% Jordan Love versus a less than 100% Jalen Hurts?
What tells me right away that a Philadelphia team, which I have no love for the brotherly love, but Saquon Barkley, for him to sit out and not get the record, and you and I talked about it last weekend, okay? That just really is another conversation. We'll have it another time. But for him to hold out, he's going to come out, and I mean thunder. I guarantee you that. And, don't get me wrong, Green Bay's got a great run. He is a good running back. He's really strong. He's versatile. But then you got a strong Philadelphia defense that's hungry right now, especially after them talking about their coach being fired and all this other stuff, and then they just run the tables on everybody. Now, then you brought up a good point, Mark. There has not been a lot of conversation or talk about Hurts and where he's at right now. Now, as far as concussion protocol, he's out of the window, okay? The door is open now.
True.
But he hasn't been at the practice field.
They've been really keeping it under wraps.
You're absolutely right. Now, let's reverse the role. Jordan Love, is it his elbow or is it his wrist? It's on his throwing arm, but which one is it? Because he's a big kid, he's strong, and how bad is it? Or is it his wrist and his elbow? One way or another, I know he's going to play. You couldn't keep him out of there. I've just got question marks about Hurts, I'll be honest with you. But I think that the running game alone, I don't know about them as far as scoring a lot of points, because if you look at their last 4 games, they haven't really.
Yeah.
They're capable of doing it, but I think they're going to come out and run the ball no matter who's quarterbacking. And I think Barkley's going to have 150-plus on that Green Bay defense that's not doing really well right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that Philadelphia comes out with a W, big time.
If Hurts is ready to go, if he is a higher percentage of health over Jordan Love, I think the Eagles win this football game.
Easy.
Yes, absolutely.
Easy. Paper or no paper. But if there's a question mark there, Mark, it might be a tight game.
Let's break down the last NFC matchup on Monday. We'll see the number 4 Rams, the number 5 Vikings. The winner will get the Detroit Lions. Minnesota just barely missed out on that 1 seed in the first round bye, but now they have a chance to get revenge if they can get past those pesky Rams. A 14-win wildcard team almost feels unfair, Tracy, but the one glaring issue here on the schedule is that Minnesota has 3 losses, 2 to the Lions, 1 to the Rams. Los Angeles has already done it once this year. They have the winning formula. Puka Nacua is a huge offensive threat for the blue and gold, and with Sam Darnold literally coming off of his worst performance of the season for the Vikings, LA is circling the purple people eaters like sharks.
No doubt about that. But LA's a dangerous team, Mark.
Yes, they are.
They, if you look at them from the first of the season, I've remarked about this also, about how, they were at the bottom of the barrel. And everybody, San Francisco, Seattle, even Arizona, then all of a sudden, they just keep coming and keep coming and keep
Everybody's
coming.
sleeping on them.
And then like, what in the world? And all of a sudden, they're here. They are a scary team right now. And here's the big deal, too. If all their receivers are healthy, that's the only question mark I have right now is it doesn't seem like they have all
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. And now, he just doesn't seem like he's 100% at all, which obviously he's not.
He's not getting very many targets at all out
there. That's the deal
there.
right
yeah,
there.
and that tells you everything about their offensive game plan because they're not utilizing him. There's probably a reason for that. Here is what we know is going to happen in this game because the Vikings do it to everybody. They're going to blitz, and blitz some
again.
more. They're blitz kings. You're going to expect to see a lot of it. But for the Rams, Matthew Stafford has statistically performed well against edge rushers this year.
Always.
Where the game script, I think, is going to hurt LA is in the red zone, however, because the Rams are not terrible at getting there, but they're not great at performing once they're in. So if they push the Vikings against the wall and the blitz, that's where I think the Rams are going to struggle getting points on the board because field goals are only going to get you so much. If Darnold can find the end zone, but you can only find the uprights, you are going to be sitting on the couch next week.
Mark, but that's my other question right there. Sam Darnold. You know how many playoff games he's been in since he's been in the league? Okay. When it comes to big-time games, he doesn't show up. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got a great percentage this year. He just couldn't get it done with him having to be pushed as hard as he was when they played Detroit. Okay, and Detroit's obviously their defense is very sketchy right now. We know that. But he was rushing passes the other day. And what I mean that, the defense was in his face. And if they rush him again and they put any kind of pressure on him, he panics. Everybody knows that. He panics. And he wasn't taking what he could with the 4 and 5 and little 6-yard, gains. He was going 15, 20 yards down the field. And that's when you produce turnovers, and that's when you produce incompletions. And his percentage rate the other day went down a ton. If they you talked about Minnesota blitzing. Hey, Rams don't have to blitz. They've got a front 4 and 2 linebackers that'll come at you. And that's my only thought about as far as Minnesota. Yeah, great season, great everything. It's the playoffs now, baby. Win or go home.
I think the Rams are going to take this one, Tracy.
I do too, man. I do too.
All right. Really well, we have a great NFL playoff picture, no doubt. 14 teams enter. Only one will remain. Will it be the Chiefs? Will it be the Lions? Or will it be the field? We can't wait to find out. When we come back, we got the local roundup coming your way. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. Tracy, as our local roundup comes to the table, there's a lot going on in the KVRE listening area. First, we'll begin with National Park College, where basketballs are bouncing once again. The student athletes are back and doing great things. Women's basketball picking up another big win, taking down UA Cosita on the road Monday, 95-77 in that game. Freshman guard Kayla Garrett of Brownsboro, Texas, set the Nighthawks single game assist record with 10. She was one rebound away from having the program's first ever triple-double. Coach Eddie Broughton's Nighthawks, 3 weeks since their last game, showed no signs of rust. Their 11th win of the season, and they remain undefeated in NJCAA Region 2 play. This team continues to break records and make waves this year.
Mark, and that's, we've been following this story for quite some time, and it's amazing. Sometimes you get a little lull, or something, or, especially in colleges, you never know because they got finals, they go to school, man. They're trying to make grades and stuff. But the cohesiveness of this team so far has been astonishing. And that's what I think is the most spectacular thing about this is even as college kids sticking around and from what they were and what they are now and still being consistent, I think that's unbelievable. I mean, but the best, also the fans, man, they're coming out. And that's cool. I'm getting so many calls on that alone, asking when the next games are.
Hey, Coach Thomas talked about it in his interview at the beginning of our show, the rise of women's basketball. The interest is there. The fan bases are growing. We're seeing it on the NPC side as well. Nighthawk men fell to the Colts by 3 points in a heartbreaker on Monday. Back-to-back losses for NPC for the first time in 2 years. Both teams have the opportunity to bounce back when they return home Thursday, January 16th for some big rivalry games. ASU Mid-South comes to town. Women start at 5:30, men at 7:30. Both games live at np.edu/live. Hey, baseball's right around the corner as well. Registration for the 2025 Majestic Park Youth League is now open. Between today and February 12th, you can register at majesticpark.org, or you can contact Derek Phillips at 501-359-2414. Last year was Majestic Park's biggest year to date. They had 812 kids sign up. They're expecting to break that record this year as well. The Spring Youth League has 6 different age divisions, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, and ages 13 through 16. It's almost that time, Tracy.
Mark, you know what? I just enjoy getting out there and watching the future stars and stuff like that. And I know you have fun coaching and being around and stuff, but I wish everybody out there, if you get a chance, come on out and watch some of these ball games. Even, it's something to just enjoy. It gives you a feeling to get back. Get you some popcorn, a hot dog, of course, America's pastime, soda pop, and come out for one thing and see this facility. Unbelievable. But get out and support these kiddos, these parents, these coaches, and maybe even become, volunteer. It's not, but it'll revigorate you and it'll get you off the couch and you'll enjoy it. I promise you. I like going out there and just walking around, listening to the crowds cheer and just to be a part of it. And like I said, you never know, you might want to even volunteer doing something or helping out. And always they could use a little help and you may see the next future star player. You never know. We've seen them before, haven't we, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do feel inspired to get into coaching, I've got some good news for you. Do you like the word free? I know I do. There is a free youth coaches clinic tomorrow, Sunday, at the Saline County Boys and Girls Club. It's open to all baseball and softball coaches, regardless of experience. That's Sunday, January 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Saline County Boys and Girls Club. And they will help teach you the art of coaching and hitting, pitching, defense, and planning out practices. If you are a coach, no matter what level you're at, this might be right up your alley. And did I mention it's free?
No doubt about that, Mark, and something special for everyone. Look, an old dog can learn new tricks. I promise you that. Every time I go to one of these events, I love picking up on some of the younger kids, younger coaches that have new ways of looking at things, and it's something special. And then just rubbing elbows with other coaches and getting ideas. It's always something fun. So, hey, you get a chance, come on out. I guarantee you'll have fun with it. Maybe be a little cold out there, but I guarantee you they'll roll with it.
Yeah, I've seen some of these baseball coaches in shorts at this time of the year. So, yeah, a special thanks I want to say to UALR, University of Arkansas Little Rock, for putting on that coaches clinic once again, Sunday, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Saline County Boys and Girls Club. I know that, this year I stepped up. I was a flag football coach this year, and the first thing I did was run to other coaches out there and talk strategy. Not coaches in the same league, of course, but talk strategy. Call somebody up. That's what these coaches do. They've always got their friends and their other comrades on speed dial, and a great opportunity to make those minds work. And just like Coach Thomas said at the beginning of the show, the game, even though this is baseball and softball, no matter what sport you play, the game is always changing. It's always evolving. So if you're set in your ways and you're not willing to adapt, you might find some of those younger guys and girls out there starting to run circles around you with new styles, new philosophies.
Mark, great show, man. Appreciate it. Can't wait to see these games, and we'll be back at it again next week.
Oh, yes. More playoff picture breakdowns, so much more. You can text the show at any time, 501-915-1300. We're here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. For Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. This has been Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE.
Game over.